depend upon the conditions. If the condition is true, then the set of statements will be executed. If condition is false, the set of statements will not be executed. Flow of control. Unless specified, the order of statements execution through a function is linear, that is, one statement after another in sequence. Some programming statements allow us to decide whether or not to execute a particular statement, execute a statement over and over repetitively. That is, for this repetition we can use some looping conditions, some loops, that is for loop, while loop and do while loop. And these decisions are based on the Boolean expressions or conditions that evaluates to true or false. Any non-zero value is true and zero value is false. Now the order of statements execution is called the flow of control. Now the conditional statements. A conditional statement, let us choose which statement will be executed next. Therefore they are sometimes called selection statements. Conditional statements gives us the power to make basic decisions. The C conditional statements are the if statements and if else statements, and the last one is switch statement. Now logic of an if statement. This logic is represented by DFD, data flow diagram. If the condition evaluated is true, then the statement is executed, and if the condition evaluated is false, then this statement is skipped. See how? See, if the condition evaluated is true, then the statement is executed. If the condition evaluated false, then this statement is skipped and our flow of control goes to next statement. Now the if statement. The if statement has the following syntax. This syntax here: if condition and then statement. Here if is a reserved word, so C compiler has already know the meaning of if, and here condition. This condition must be a Boolean expression. It must be evaluates to either true or false, that is 0 or 1. Now statements. If condition is true, then this statement is get executed, otherwise this statement will not be executed. Now logic of an if else statement. It is also represented by DFD. Here if the condition evaluated is true, then the statement 1 is executed, and if the condition evaluated is false, then the next statement 2 is executed. Now the if else statement. An else clause can be added to an if statement to make if else statement. Here if condition is true, then statement 1 is executed, otherwise else statement 2 is executed. One or the other must be executed, but not both. Here Boolean expressions. A condition often uses one of C's equality operators or relational operators, which all return Boolean results. So we have 6 relational operators, and we use these operators for creating conditions in our if statement. Now this is equality operator, this is not equal to operator, this is less than, this is greater than, this is less than equal to operator, and this is greater than equal to operator. Here these 3 operators are different from mathematical symbols, where we use cut sign here for not equal to, but these are only the symbol is different, but the meaning is same. There is difference between double equals to, that is equality operator, and equal to operator, that is assignment operator. Here single equals to assigns the right hand side value to the left hand variable, and whereas equality operator checks the equality of left hand and right hand side variables. Now C does not have Boolean data type, whereas C++ and Java has Boolean data type. So therefore C compares the value of variables and expression against 0 to determine if they are true or false. If the value is 0, then the result is implicitly assumed to be false, otherwise it is true. If the value is different from 0, then the result is true. Now short-circuited operators. The logical and logical OR operators are said to be short-circuited operator. Why? Because if the left operand is sufficient to determine the result, the right operand is not evaluated. See, here is an example. Let's suppose if count equals to 0, there are two conditions, and we join these two conditions by logical AND operator, and if this condition count equals to 0 becomes false, then the next condition will not be evaluated, because false and true becomes false, and false also becomes false. So there is no need to calculate this condition. So these logical and logical OR are called short-circuited operators. Now block statements. Several statements can be grouped together into the block delimited by braces. If an if-else statement, the if portion or the else portion or both could be a block statement. Now here is an example. Here more than block statement, it's simple meaning that in the if block or in the else block we can group more than one statement into a block, then this is called a block statement. Similarly here we group more than one statement, that is two statements in else block, so it is a block statement. Now the conditional operators. C has conditional operator that uses a Boolean condition to determine which of two expressions is evaluated. Its syntax is condition, then question mark sign, then expression 1, colon sign, then expression 2. Here, if the condition is satisfied, then expression 1 is evaluated, and if the condition is not satisfied, then the expression 2 is evaluated. So here, take an example. If larger equals to num1 is greater than num2, then question mark num1 colon num2. Here we have num1 and num2, and larger are three variables, let's suppose of integer type. If num1 is greater than num2, if this condition is true, then num1 is assigned to the larger. So the value of larger is num1. If it is false, then the value of num2 is assigned to the larger. Now conditional operator is also called a ternary operator because it uses the three statements here, and it requires three operands. Now nested if statements. Nested if statement is very simple. We can nested an if else block within a if block, or we can nest an if else block within a else block. So here the statement executed as a result of an if statement or else clause could be another if statement. These are called nested if statements. Now braces can be used to specify the if statement to which an else clause belongs. So here is an example. Here we are nesting an if else block within a if block. Similarly we can nesting of if else clause within a else clause. Now the switch statement. The switch statement evaluates an expression, then attempts to match the result to one of the several possible cases. So in this switch statement we have switch, then expression, and then there are so many cases, and we can move to the cases if this expression yields to any case result. Now the flow of control transfer to statement associated with the first case value that matches. Often a break statement is used as the last statement in the each case's statement. Now, a break statement causes control to transfer to the end of the switch statement. If a break statement is not used, the flow of control will continue to the next case. Sometimes this may be appropriate, but often we want to execute only the statements associated with one case. A switch statement can have an optional default case. The default case has no associated value and simply uses the reserved word default. If the default case is present, control will transfer to it if no other case value matches. If there is no default cases and no other value matches, the control falls through the statement after the switch statement. Now, the switch statement. The general syntax of a switch statement is switch, which is a keyword, reserved word, then expression, and this expression must be yield to a specific value, that is a boolean value 0 or 1. Now there are case values. These are the case constant values actually. So if this expression yields to any value 1, 2, 3, 4, then if this value matches to any value, then the statements belongs to this case will be executed, and there may be a default case here at the last or anywhere in this switch statement. Here, if the expression yields to a value 2 and this expression matches to the value 2, then the statement list 2 is executed, and here we are not using break statement, so the statement 3 also executed. Now the switch statement, there is an example of a switch statement here. In the first example, in this switch case, we are not using break statement, and in this second example, we are using break statement. See the difference. In the first program, main int I equals to 2, switch I. So value of I is 2. So this 2 matches to the case 2, this value. So case 2. So this statement is printed. I am in case 2. I am in case 2 is printed, and backslash n is for new line character. So in the next line, our control move to the next line. Case 3. So here we are not using break statement. So this case, the printf statement, this statement is also printed. I am in case 3. I am in case 3. Backslash n for new line. So new line. In the next line, I am in default is also printed, and here our program's execution comes to an end. Now in this example, we are using break statement. So here value of I is 2, switch I. So this expression yields to the value 2, and this value matches here, case 2. So the printf I am in case 2. So this I am in case 2 is printed here, and backslash n control reaches to the next line, but break statement is occurred. So for this break statement, our control out of this switch statement, and here our end of program. Thanks.